Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today, I thought we would talk about this idea of online media. Recently with the current global events with coronavirus, more and more of us are going to be using online media for various purposes, whether that be for gaming, for watching TV shows or movie shows. It got me thinking, if this virus continues, and which based on projections, it seems like it could last a couple of months, we're going to be in isolation. And more people are going to be wanting to use these online services, whether that be Amazon to order their various products, whether that be using streaming services like Netflix or Hulu, or in some cases, online gaming for their entertainment needs. And what this will mean for us as a society moving forward to going into this online space. Will it push physical media out? I don't know. I mean, it's been well known that as a society, physical media is no longer dominant. More and more of us, especially the younger generations, buy everything online. Everything's through an online service. Personally, I prefer physical media. This is Animal Crossing, the new edition. I like physical media. And it's interesting to see that with things like this coronavirus, people aren't going to go to brick and mortar stores. At least here in Ontario, we have a mandatory 2-week shutdown for the vast majority of non-essential stores, and that would include most video game stores. Which, if you can't get your video game day one at let's say Best Buy or EB Games or GameStop if you're in the States, you're not going to get to play these titles. However, if you buy it online, you get it right there and then. So I think that depending on the length of this isolation and how the virus takes place could potentially move us even further into the realm of this online presence, where we're going to be putting more things online. We're already seeing, at least here in Ontario, investments going into improving internet infrastructure. We've been noticing that since we've been telling people to stay at home, work from home, use the internet. Obviously, within the first couple of days, internet speeds begin to decrease. Right? It's just there's too many people on the system. The systems can't handle it, and so there's now going to be put a lot of investment into this. And that might be good. There's a lot of other stores that didn't have a very strong online presence that now do. Those that have had an online presence have put more investments to strengthen that online presence and in the world. And I think we're probably going to be moving to this more stronger online world. What does that mean for people who do gaming? There's a lot of benefits to having things online. One of them is ease and convenience, right? For example, if I couldn't go out because I'm in quarantine or just in general very busy and couldn't make it to the store, I could just order it day one on whatever system I want, whether it be my PC or my PlayStation or my Nintendo Switch, doesn't matter. I could order them right away and play them. So there's that convenience factor. And I think that's a good idea. Plus, a lot of the times, many online sales are way better than they are in the physical brick and mortar stores. A good example is Steam, right? Steam has tons and tons of sales. I was reading in one of my Facebook feeds about The Sims, right? The Sims 4, how they were having an early spring sale, right? And, up to 50% off on many of these expansion packs. So yeah, there can be better deals by doing it through an online fashion. However, I have some concerns with online, especially when it comes to video games or even movies or TV shows, like any kind of media in general. The problem is that if I buy these things, I'm owning code, right? I'm essentially renting the code. I'm not there's no physical thing that I can say is mine, which personally I like. I like to say I own it and can show it to people. The other is that, especially when it comes to subscription services, whether that be Nintendo Now or sorry, not Nintendo Now, PlayStation Now, Netflix, Hulu, at any moment, if the company decides to take off something, they can, and you no longer can watch it. That's happened to me so many times on Netflix or on Amazon Prime or Crackle, Hulu, Crave TV. A lot of these things have happened, and you can't get them anymore. They're gone. And so if I wanted to go back and, let's say, watch a particular show, I have to then, pirate it someplace on the internet, or I would have to buy a physical copy of a DVD or Blu-ray of that particular show. Same thing can happen with video games. Same thing can happen. I remember, PT, right? That was a big game. I remember my sister and I downloaded the demo, and then what happened? It disappeared, right? It went under. It didn't come out. Now if I get rid of it off of my PlayStation, which is a good thing I didn't, I would never get that demo back again. That's a problem, and it scares me as a gamer because I don't want, potentially, for some unknown reason, some weirdness happens, and I'm unable to connect to the internet, or I'm unable to pay for the Xbox Gold or PlayStation subscriptions to play online. I can't afford that, or I lose that ability. I might not be able to get some of these games back, especially if I remove them from my hard drive, or I have to switch hard drives or whatever. There might be issues, and I have a problem with that. Whereas an actual physical game, I know I still have it. Mind you, of course, if they do remove games, even if it's a physical game, I might not get the updates, right? So it might still be a broken game or not a complete game, but at least I have the physical cartridge or the disc. And I don't know. I think that's better overall. And the other thing is that I'm from a generation where we all went and bought most of our games on a brick and mortar store, and I remember many times going to EB Games or GameStop and buying games there, or trading games in, going to thrift stores and trying to find video games. I mean, this whole idea of the secondary market isn't there online. So there is some issues there, especially if we move to 100% online with no physical releases. We're not there yet, obviously, but with this virus, we might be, right? It might help push things in the right direction into being more online, even though we're already going there anyways. Personally, if I was in the industry, I still think it's best to release both physical and an online version. That way you're satisfying both customers, and you can make good money that way, assuming that your production costs of making the physical media doesn't lead to any type of a decrease in profit, because companies won't do that very readily. But yeah, I mean, and the other big issue that I've noticed has been the internet connection. So other people like Adam Korlick have talked about, certain areas of the globe don't have very good internet connectivity. For example, Japan, their infrastructure for internet isn't very good. The U.S. is still spotty. There's a lot of places in the U.S. where you have very, very bad internet. Same in Canada. I mean, even here in a metropolitan city, with all these people at home, the internet has been exceedingly slow. I've had difficulty uploading YouTube videos. I've had trouble just working from home, right? I'm a scientist working from home. Just connecting with people through Skype or Zoom or other apps to talk to people has been a struggle. I have been kicked out trying to teach my class. I have had students unable to connect, or they connect and then they get booted out because there's a poor connection. I was booted out twice, and that it was very frustrating. So I think right at the moment, this could push governments and companies and investors to invest more in online infrastructure. If that happens and that sets in place, especially now with this COVID-19 and then the different things governments are now doing and enacting very, very strict policies to contain movement to stop the spread of the virus, it's possible that once we have a good internet infrastructure, that then there's a much bigger push, especially for video games, movies, TV, etc., to go online. I mean, just to think about my local movie theater, right, a Cineplex Odeon. They're putting all their movies online now because of this virus. So they're not going to lose money. So pretty soon, there won't even need to have a movie theater if all the movie theaters are going to put them online. So it's very interesting times that we live in. And I just wanted to comment because it's been bugging me lately, and I've been seeing some statistics from Amazon saying they've had explosions in terms of their numbers of people ordering things. I'm actually looking forward, in particular, so far they haven't come up with the stats yet, but I want to know, because this came out during the middle of this sort of COVID-19 crisis, how many physical copies were sold of Animal Crossing New Horizons? How many? And that were physical versus that of digital. Because I think that will give us a very good indication of where things are going to go and possibly into the future. I would predict, and I'm probably very, very wrong on this, but I'm predicting that it's going to be more of an online sales versus that of the physical. Does it necessarily indicate that the future is going to be the same? No. Personally, I hope not. I hope we keep to the model we have now, where you have both a physical release as well as a digital release. That would be the best thing for me, and I think serves the greatest need for most people. But I'm not against online buying, obviously. I subscribe to all kinds of online subscriptions. And of course, I sometimes even buy online games and don't have a physical release. Of course I do. I just prefer to have the physical, if I can. So with that, let me know, guys, down below. Are you more interested in physical or digital releases? What are your thoughts on the topic? You know, provide a comment or a video response. Hey, am I completely crazy? I think I am. My daughter thinks I'm crazy. My wife certainly does. So why not the rest of the internet? But please like, share, subscribe, and above all else, please take care of yourself. Follow those orders to stay home. Follow all these things that the governments are putting out to keep us safe. So with that, I hope you have a wonderful day and take care.